this week on What's the Remedy podcast.
All right, what's up? Welcome back. This is What's the Remedy podcast. It's your boy, Dr. J.
Mr. Wash.
Ashley Ray.
And this is your weekly conversation on mental health, social issues, and other contributing factors plaguing society. We try to be the antiseptic to toxic masculinity. What's the Remedy podcast?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? Everybody good?
Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
We have a guest today, so I want to go ahead and give it to Ashley because, you know, Ashley does such great introductions.
Okay. Thanks. See, you messed me up.
No.
So
go ahead with your introduction. Go ahead.
Roll with it, Ashley.
So who do we have for today, Ashley?
Today, we have the beautiful Nelma, the CEO of Natural Nourished, correct?
Yes.
All right. And I met you at what is it? Chicks Mix with Chicks or something?
Chicks that mix.
Chicks that mix.
Yeah.
Messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zakia.
Shout out to Zakia for just introducing me to a lot of
It's Life podcast.
Yeah, introducing me to a lot of interesting women, and she actually was one. I was like, wow, she's a chef who really cooks a lot of great meals to nourish our body.
Yeah.
She was on it about everything. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead, introduce yourself. I probably messed up.
So,
No, you did.
Oh, I did better? Oh, okay. Because I'm more interested. Okay, my dog.
Yeah.
well, I'm Nelma. The company is naturallynelma, and Naturally Nourished is the meal prep concept that I run.
Awesome.
I am a wellness and dietary chef. I graduated from the Art Institute in 2017. My focus was always on organic, whole foods and just being super green. And when I graduated, I rebranded the company, which originally was a catering company, to meal prepping, because I noticed that in the industry there were, meal prepping is something that's becoming very popular in the wellness and health industry, and we live in, a society that doesn't have time. So whenever, you have a nutritionist or a dietitian or even a primary care physician that tells you, hey, you need to work on this stuff because of your body, that's where I come in and I'm able to supply and aid in making those meals.
So you make these meals for your clients off of the doctors, basically.
Exactly. So if they have like a specific meal plan, like let's say that someone comes to me and they say,
I got high blood pressure.
Exactly. So I will tailor the meals to fit, the ingredients that will help you lower your blood pressure.
Yeah.
That's what I got high blood pressure. What? I'm trying to get the meals that I need. Now feed me that shit.
So what is a good food for high blood pressure? Just for an example.
Help me out.
Right off the top, I love working with herbs. One of my favorite ones is cilantro, and that one has an insane amount of benefits, and it definitely works with high blood pressure. It helps in aiding weight loss. It helps with high cholesterol as well. It could be a subsidiary for salt. Instead of having to season your food all crazy, you can just add that, and it keeps your food very fresh. So it's one of my favorite ones to talk about because I know there's a lot of people that hate cilantro.
Yeah,
it's so. I like cilantro, but it's really strong.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how do you the flavor is so strong.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you tell me what you want in your food and I'll make sure you get it. If there's something that you don't want in your food, I'll make sure that it's not in your food.
Okay.
I have my clients fill out a questionnaire online. It takes about 10 or so minutes for them to let me know what their dietary guidelines are, what their allergies are, and I end up creating a menu for them every week. And if they approve of that menu, we get to work.
So you love to cook?
Yes, ma'am. I've been cooking since I was 8 years old.
Oh.
Yes, my grandma is like my biggest inspiration for
Where
that.
are you from?
West Africa, Angola. Yeah, born and raised. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that makes sense.
I was like, what age you started cooking? Next question.
35.
I didn't want to talk about it. I got high blood pressure. Whatever. Anyway, I ain't eating none of your food. You.
Have you had my food? Can I do cook?
When you cook?
I need to cook healthier, but
Washington's got Louisiana people. He got that cooking in him.
Yeah, we give high blood pressure. So.
I know.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not good food.
Yeah,
it tastes good.
It's not good food, but it's good food.
Yeah.
If you want to say that.
Yeah, soul food has a high impact on our health, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and if I believe it came from like the stories of back in the day, when it was had to do with like slavery and everything, and you know, it's my belief that like the way that food was put out there, it was put there to like poison us in a way. And we ended up turning it to a tradition. So when a lot of people see me cooking very green meals, they're just like, oh, this isn't typical black people food.
Yeah.
No pig feet.
Yeah.
What you eat? What else you
Well,
eat?
no, I'm about to say that's the sad part in it as well, because now, like we talking about the difference, like in the different things you cook, now people really just don't cook, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets food that's processed and stuff, fast food, quick food, because nobody takes the time to actually cook a meal.
Like she said, that's time consuming. And
Yeah.
it's actually quicker for you to do. So go ahead and get someone to cook your meals for you.
Yeah.
To be healthy.
Yeah, if you're a busy person, I guess.
I'm busy.
I mean,
Busy being lazy, yeah.
I was gonna
But
say,
it is what it is.
Actually, you could cook if you wanted to.
Yeah, you
I
could.
cook occasionally, guys. Like,
It's true, but think about it. You're sitting in traffic, like
Yeah.
going
Right.
to work, coming back from work.
Thank
Sometimes you
you.
just want to come home and put your feet up, you know.
drink a
Oh,
little
this-
wine.
And that creates my market because, you know, y'all are helping me
Basically.
make money so I can go
So
eat.
don't stop my money.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't stop the money, but like, I guess a question, since you do this type of thing, like, you know how they have like the HEB simply
I
meals
was
and
actually
stuff like
about
that.
to say something.
Yeah.
That ain't good for you, right? Let them know.
I was just gonna ask,
Let
like,
them know how much
is that,
sodium and stuff. Because he's sweaty, just pop it in there. Like,
no,
let's
no,
go.
that's what I want to ask. Like, you know what I'm saying? How much? Because they tell you, like, oh no, this is really good for you.
Yeah.
It's
I just
quick.
feel like anything that's packaged in a store and it's already made to eat is just not really
I
trustworthy.
thought so.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in, you know, getting the ingredients, know exactly what's going into your food. And as much as I do love HEB, it's a good store that I go for my clients for, but I rep Trader Joe's, you know,
Okay.
like the food is exceptionally cheap, you know, it's very affordable. A lot of people say that it's too expensive to cook healthy meals, and Trader Joe's like redefines.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I was a big advocate for HEB simple meals. 'Cause-
You were?
Yeah, I mean, because they quick. I mean, but like we said, it's easier to have a meal that's already prepared.
Mhm.
But I mean, granted, you should definitely, like you said, read like labels and stuff. Like you don't even know what's in the stuff. You just take it because well, it's cooked already, so. And just put it up.
And people are lazy to read that,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. So whenever they, you know, come to me, they're like, "Oh, what's gonna be in this?" I'm just like, "Just trust me.
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going into your food.
Right.
If you want your macros counted, I guess I can do that too."
Right.
But you know, a lot of people get really obsessed about counting calories, and like that's something that a lot of nutrition coaches will tell you. You know, there's very simple things that you can do instead of having to count your calories.
Okay, what's that? I used to do that.
Have you heard of the palm method?
Oh, on my plate?
Yeah, how they say like you
my
use,
trainer tried to tell me that.
Yeah, it's like you use
Look
your
at my
palm.
hand though.
Yeah.
Look how small it is. I'm trying
I'm about
to
to
shit.
say, I'm about to say,
Oh, shut up.
no.
You know, I was like, hey, look how little my hand is. I like to eat.
Yeah, because
So we using your hand, sir, mine.
Yeah.
We're using 2 hands.
Oh, okay. Because he tried to tell me that for Thanksgiving, like, you should have it, like, every, like, side of my palm.
Yeah, they say like your thumb should be the amount of fats and oils. Your palm should be either your carbs or your protein. I cannot remember.
I
And then
know
2
how,
hands
man.
full, I believe. Yeah, 2
Okay.
hands full is your carbs. So it could
Oh.
be rice, pasta, and then like your palm should be your protein.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to vegetables, you add as much as possible. You can overdose
did
on
tell me that.
vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my Benihana's was like this big.
But not like black folk vegetables where you put like a lot of butter and pig.
I don't really like. Oh, and we put
all the
like
pig products in
Is
there.
it big tits?
no, you put pig.
No, you
No,
put
bacon.
Pig, you put pig.
We
What's
put
that?
bacon and
What's that? Like oxtails and the greens and stuff like that. What else you
Oh,
put?
it's about when you
Turkey
make
necks.
Ham hock.
No, you put ham hocks and
Yeah.
balls like that. You put bacon in it and
yeah,
stuff
we
like
put
that.
You
bacon.
put a whole bunch of pig in your greens
Yeah.
to make good greens.
Yeah, to get that flavor in.
I love me some bacon. You know,
Okay.
like
I know I do like it in
Good.
a lot of people when they ask for a certain meal, for one of my favorite to make is sauteed green beans with bacon. And you know, before, whenever I put it in, I cut in the bacon. I try to find, you know, like low fat, you know, like good smoked bacon. And you know, I cook that, I let it fizz, let the oil build up or whatever, and I cook the beans in there. Sometimes people will add additional, you know, like oils into that, which makes it like even fattier. And it also depends on, you know, like what type of butcher you're going to. Like
Butcher?
Yeah, like
what?
Yeah.
Let's be real, y'all going to a butcher to get y'all bacon? Cause
My mom used to go to like a butcher
Oh.
back in the day, but
they're so underrated because a lot of them like really know what they're doing.
probably so, but
Yeah, you go to a butcher like,
how much that bacon?
well, not like I said, especially like in smaller towns, whatever. Like I said, when I used to stay with my grandparents, like in Port Arthur, they have like a meat market. You know what I'm saying? They just have a personal butcher and stuff to get all your stuff.
But you really go get your bacon from there? Or you just going to H-E-B? Like,
well, I've
No,
never done it, but like
That you should-
I've
you
had
should go
bacon
to
from
a butcher
and
then,
it tastes
huh?
a lot different. Like,
It
it
probably
does.
tastes better.
It's better, yeah.
When it's like anything that's house made is just going to be authentic and delicious. You know, like anything that you're getting from these grocery
Is it
stores.
more expensive?
And it's processed as well, you know, like who knows how long they're keeping those things in the freezer and the fridge to make sure the colorants that they're putting in there to make sure, oh, she's getting sick. But there's so much that goes into this, and that's why a lot of people are, you know, like trying to transition to that too, to veganism, you know, because they're just like, oh, like we don't know what's going into these animals, so we're just gonna eat a bunch of veggies.
You know what? I tried one. I never went vegan. Not even really vegetarian. I think the closest I got was like pescatarian one time, and I did that for a long time. But I did try some vegan bacon one time, and it actually kind of tasted like bacon. It kind of tasted like bacon.
No. I was vegan for about a year, back in 2013, 2014. I went cold turkeys, which is probably why I didn't last. I believe that if you're going to go into that, it should be a transition. It's like you said, first you cut out meat, going to pescatarian, then vegetarian, then vegan. And for me, I just went straight from like eating like, you know, damn near live meat. Like I love my food like rare, you know, and I went from that straight to that. And it was not a great experience, and I didn't have like all the knowledge about veganism, so I lost a lot of weight. I was even more anemic than I already was, you know, like there was a lot of health defects that came with that. So I always tell people, if you're going to transition to veganism, you have to do your research, and you have to make sure that you're getting all of your nutrients and, you know, your protein dense food, because you can eat all the tofu you want in the world, but like if you don't know like how to prepare it and how to eat it, you know, or how to prepare these foods, you're hurting yourself.
Nasty too. Like when it's nasty, you stop. Like that's usually what happens. Because that's kind of what happened to me. Because like pescatarian, I was good because I like seafood.
Okay, me too.
So,
I love seafood.
And so like when I cut out, I didn't do any pork, no chicken, no nothing except for
Did you lose
fish.
weight during that
Yeah,
time?
like because this was in my like big weight loss time. You know, like when I lost all that.
Did you
weight.
notice like a change in your energy levels?
Yeah, like
It's intense.
Everything
Yeah.
changed.
Was it more energy?
Yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
energy. I'm actually on a pescatarian diet right now. Yeah, I started on the 1st in honor of Nipsey. I've already lost so much weight. Like the guy I'm dating was just like, did you lose weight? I was just like, damn, I gotta go eat a chunk of chicken like real quick. Like I do not want to lose.
It's all right,
No, it's really good.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, you do get like a lot of energy from it, and you know, like people don't really feel that bad for fish, you know.
No,
like,
they don't. That's why vegetarians are cool. They're like, well, you can eat the fish, just don't touch any other animals.
Exactly.
I get tired of fish. I love shrimp.
But see, I started discovering like more seafood stuff when I was pescatarian. So I started eating more salmon burgers and, you know, I don't know, just salmon in general.
Scallops, okay.
I like calamari anyway. And, yeah, I mean, oysters, you know.
Oysters. Me too.
No, but that was the other thing though. So when I was pescatarian, I had more money. So like it was more expensive because like I would buy, you know, salmon and things like that. That shit adds up.
See what I'm saying?
Seafood is expensive.
Yeah, seafood is expensive.
Yes.
Buying shrimp all the time and you know, crab and lobster, that kind of stuff. It was
lobster.
Ridiculous.
You was in a relationship at this time?
No, I was.
Okay.
No.
Living his best life.
No. He said no.
I ain't got no nobody. I'm gonna feed and eat good. Treat yourself.
I was single. I had a roommate. I was living in an apartment. Like I ain't had this house, none of that. So I was I had money. Like now I pay so many bills. I can't be doing like I used to.
You can eat some crawfish.
Yeah, I do like crawfish. I did. I had some the other day too.
Yes.
Where?
It was LA crawfish. Just because it was by the house. So.
What is your favorite crawfish place?
I like BB.
Okay, I do like their flavor as well. Yeah.
I've been going every weekend.
Oh wow, I ain't been that much. In fact, this crawfish season, I've been like 3 times.
3 times.
I go maybe once a week to get crawfish.
Okay. And my trainer says something about the sodium
and cholesterol risks.
And I'm not adding no more butter. I don't get the butter. I don't get no extra butter. I don't do the extra butter. I'm trying to. I'll be like 2 pounds, and I'm like 1 more pound.
Yeah, I do the extra butter.
I don't do the extra butter no more.
Man, then like
I
you
cut
have
it
extra
down, but you
butter
still
and
don't
you put
care.
seasoning in the melted butter.
No, I don't do that. No, I just don't eat it out of it.
You know,
the place I go to has this amazing sauce.
Which one?
It's called Gennych. It's off of Westheimer and Walnut Bend. And like they know me. Like there was a Saturday I called in and they were like, it's gonna be an 1.5 hour wait. I'm like, for takeaway or for like sitting in? They're like both. I was like, okay.
I'll
wait.
And I was like, I'll wait.
Exactly. So I was like, I'll wait. So like 15 minutes later, they're like, the manager recognized your name. Your food is ready. I was like, I'm coming. Yes. This is good.
So they put it in a plastic, like the bag?
They put it in a package, like it's just like your regular like to-go plastic package. But they have this sauce. Like I've been eating this sauce so that I can try to like taste the ingredients. But it's so like intricate. I'm just like, I'm never gonna get this. Like, and I try to copy a lot of like other recipes if I can, especially if I really like something. And their sauce is unbeatable, and the size of their crawfish is so big as well. Yes, like it's just a winner. You guys should definitely check it out.
That's up where my old apartment used to be. I used to live off of Briar Forest and Wilcrest. That's where I used to live.
Yeah, that's like right in my neighborhood.
That's where I used to live. That's where I used to live, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in business.
Right, I need to know.
I used to live over there.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know who actually has some good crawfish that actually was surprising one time?
Who?
H-E-B.
I heard they do.
Like they be cooking it right outside the H-E-B.
Yeah.
And like I picked some up one
Oh,
time.
I did taste that.
It was good.
But I was in Pearland at that time.
Yeah.
They had some. I was like, oh,
it was
that's
actually pretty good. Like I didn't expect anything. I was like, well, let me just get a pound, see what they're doing out here. But it actually tasted alright.
I don't trust smells. Like I'm one of those people where it's just like if I smell it, it's just like okay, yeah, it might smell real good, but that's just like aromatics, Like once you taste it, sometimes you're just like, this is not what it smelled like. Yeah. So I might have to go ahead and give that a try because I'll walk by and it always smells so good, but I'm just like, it's H-E-B crawfish. I don't know.
That's why I was like, you have to H-E-B?
Yeah.
Outside? I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, I'll try.
And I'm not gonna cut for H-E-B because I don't know that all of the H-E-Bs are gonna be good. Maybe the dude that was cooking there.
He put a little something.
Yeah, by my house on Highway 6. So I don't. But this was a long time ago. I don't even know if I've seen the same dude out there that did it. This was like a couple of years ago. So I haven't gotten any from them since then. But it was good that one time.
So crawfish is bad for you? Just like 3 pounds.
I mean,
I drink a lot of water.
This is what I say. I say like everything can kill you. Like
right, water.
Just as much as everything can help you live. It's all about balance and in moderation.
Right.
Enjoy the things that you enjoy, but if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, there is a certain discipline that you have to have. Because when you look at a place like Angola, like our obesity rate is about 5%.
How much is ours?
Like, really bad.
95%.
I'm obese right now. That's what they said. I was like,
it's
what?
really bad. And it's also because
like,
the food here is so processed. It has GMOs. It has all this stuff going into it.
I really do feel like they were trying to kill me last year.
We bad.
I'm just like, y'all, everybody just needs to move to Africa. Like, the motherland has everything
they
we
gonna
need.
let us in.
Look.
I'm here. They gonna let me in.
I can see you on the ship like,
I'm back. Turn it back around. Wait a minute.
You know what? I had a professor because I took biology. That was my major in college, biology.
Nice.
And I had a professor that he told us that we shouldn't have anything that was white and granulated. He said that we shouldn't have salt, sugar, and cocaine. Those are all things that are not natural, that you shouldn't take into your body and into your diet.
That's a pretty dope philosophy.
I think it's salt.
Salt, sugar, cocaine. That's what he told us. He said just
I
relate
really
those
like
three
salt,
together.
sugar, yes. Cocaine, I ain't tried it yet. Give me a minute. But like,
give me a minute. Whenever I lived in Spain, we lived like right by the beach. Myself and an ex of mine. And
okay, where you moving back?
I'm not trying to go back anytime soon. But we lived right by the beach, and there were times that like the way the water would wash up, it would be like under these like rocky sand dunes, and the salt would collect itself, you know, like it would literally dry out to the point where you had like pure organic sea salt, and we would literally pick it. I was such a hippie back then, but like we would literally like pick up.
That would be your salt?
Yeah, that would be our salt, like just organic natural sea salt. We would just take it home, cook it. We used to pick like aloe vera plants and moisturize. Like
I do. Well, I'm a country, so we got that in the backyard. We got grapefruit and everything, so it don't matter.
My mom used to grow aloe vera plants.
I put it on my hand, yeah, but it works. I like that.
Because I remember when I was little, my mom used to like, I had like a burn, and my mom would go break out the aloe vera plants and stuff.
It's like the Vicks of black people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
burn. I was like, yes, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I need to start growing more stuff, I guess.
That's a blessing. I stay by the beach like that. Man, I wouldn't know how to.
That is a life goal. Like I definitely just want to like collect these millions and go buy an island and just get away from society.
Yeah.
Have like my own little garden or something working, like, you know, self-sustainable.
My garden gonna be destroyed. I'm not playing. So
I'm still learning as well.
I was gonna say, I don't know how to do it.
I know nothing about that. I have killed so many orchids, like, and they're the easiest things to take care of. They don't even need sunlight, you know, and
so nobody.
it's just embarrassing.
But yeah, so do you think it's better to grow your own stuff, or do you just think that we should rely on people that are like, I guess, professionally grow all your stuff? If you want to keep it natural as possible.
I mean, if you want to keep it as natural as possible, it's better to learn to grow your own, you know, or work with someone who you know for a fact is not spraying stuff with pesticides, you know, like strawberries be coming out like so big when really they're supposed to be like small, tiny little things.
They're probably like, man, I just had a big strawberry. This big, y'all.
The big ones, like I've seen big strawberries.
It's in my refrigerator right now. I'm like, damn, that's too big.
I like, but the thing is,
I'm still gonna eat it.
exactly. It's
So,
like that strawberry.
That's
That's a whole smoothie.
Basically, I put it in there. I was like,
And I believe, like, whenever they started this whole GMO thing, their goal was to help end world hunger, you know? Like, if we make the food bigger, there will be more food to spread. And that has not turned out to be the case, you know?
People just ate more.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was supposed to make more food for everybody, but instead people just ate more. So.
Exactly.
I like to eat.
I don't know. You know, there's since we're going to relate it back to mental health, and you say you like to eat, they have like mental disorders where they talk about like eating disorders and stuff.
I think I do have one, but it ain't like anorexic. It's more like
it's not
food makes me feel good. Okay, I'm gonna be there.
Like,
Shut up, dog. I ain't throwing up no food. What? I love my food. I like to get my meals, sit down at the table by myself. I don't want to even eat with nobody. That's the best meal ever.
To eat by yourself?
Right.
I actually kind of agree.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to eat.
Oh, yeah,
enjoy
no,
my
I don't
food.
like talking.
It's better than sex. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, my
Wow.
Everybody's like,
we know what get you doing.
food. What?
Yeah.
Well, I already know. By myself, like, hey, just pass some chicken wings in the bed.
Honestly, a good meal in solitude is just everything, you know?
It is nice though.
I don't know. Is that a mental?
No.
I don't think so. I think
eating
it's
too
actually
much is a problem, but not just eating.
or not eating at all.
Yeah, not eating at all is a problem. Eating too much, but if you just enjoy your food, I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying your food.
Yeah, because you enjoy your food, be allowed to digest and everything else, and just relax and calm yourself in a calm space.
I keep eating sometimes. Let's go.
I believe there's also a study that says that like people that eat like too quick and are in a rush, like they don't digest their food properly, and that can create problems in your body. So I get called a slow eater, and I'm just like, I'm not a slow eater, I'm an indulger, you know, like it, like I want to taste everything, you know, and then I have like my little glass of wine, I just like want to mix it up and like,
oh, you got time,
you know.
Well, y'all having experiences and shit. Y'all food.
It depends.
It is an experience. It is an experience. I feel like food is so relative to, if I can speak on spirituality, food is so relative to God, you know, in a way, because he gave us this sense of nourishment for our bodies, you know, and it's just like the duality of life. Like too much will be overwhelming, and not enough will be, you know, what's the word? Underwhelming, you know, like it'll not be enough, it won't be sustainable, and it can kill you, you know, like food really has the power to either heal you or kill you. It just depends on the choice that you make with it.
Very true. Okay, I have a question. So one of the things that comes up a lot with dealing with food and mental health disorders is like they talk about certain, like we talked about GMOs and pesticides and things like that, and how they can, some people think that they can cause things like autism or things like that. How do you feel about those types of ideas where like it's causing a lot more mental disorders just because of the things that are in the food?
I can sort of agree with it. Like, you know, eating red meat has been linked to, you know, cancer, you know, and I think it comes from, when you speak of halal meat, for example, you know, they speak of meat that is killed decently, it's killed humanely, while as we most of the time are eating food from slaughterhouses, you know, and they say that there's a certain energy that is released from the animal, you know, and that chemical that is released, it's basically like, you know, that last hoo-ha, like that last fuck you, like, oh, y'all gonna kill me, I'm a poison y'all. Exactly. So whenever, you know, we eat too much of that, it can cause problems for sure, you know. Like, but at the same time, I've heard things like tomatoes causing problems. You know, like there's just so many different foods that it's like I always say, you have to eat it in a certain balance. And we don't even know what that balance entirely is. You know, a lot of people are, you know, talking about the alkaline diet, and that's something that to be researched, and people really need to understand where it's coming from, you know. And I've been knowing about it for a while, and when it comes to my personal diet, I just go with what feels right, you know. Like my water is alkaline, but I'm not on an alkaline diet, you know. Like I will have very nutritious green meals one day, like I will go to a steakhouse the next, you know. It's like I consistently say this, it's all about moderation. If you take a lifestyle choice to switch up the way that you eat for whatever reason, whether it's spiritual, it's for the animals, it's to change your lifestyle, to change your weight, like that's something that you have to do with yourself. And that's why at naturallynelma, I really believe in having tailored meals, you know. Like we are not all the same, you know, everybody's different, we all have a different, you know, thumbprint. So why am I gonna cook the same meal for everybody else, you know? Like it makes no sense to me.
That's actually what I was gonna say, is that, you know, you kind of have to tailor things according to how people react to things, because everybody's not going to have the same reaction to, you know, even red meat or anything like that. Like some people have like real adverse reactions to certain foods.
And allergies.
Allergies too. I'm just glad I don't have allergies.
Thank the Lord for that.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have food allergies. Food allergies are bad. Y'all have any food allergies?
I used to.
Yeah, I used to have a bad allergy to shrimp.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
No, not ground. Not ground.
That's what I'm about to say.
I grew out of it because I kept on eating it.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I want to say like it was too much of the iodine, whatever. And it got to the point where like,
your lips will swell up.
Like my top lip. I would go out with my parents with I get shrimp, and my lip was like a platypus, whatever. Like my top lip would swell up.
But you kept eating.
Because as soon as we got home, knew what's gonna happen.
Benadryl.
Some Benadryl.
Yeah.
And so
I have
like
a friend that does that. She does it before we go eat crawfish and apples.
Yeah.
I be like, why your lips are getting red? She's like, don't worry about it.
Worth
it. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. After time, over time, I grew out of it. And
how old were you?
This was like in the elementary and stuff like that. That was going on in middle school.
I always said that would be the one thing I would hate to have, the shellfish allergy, because I'd be like, man, I like shellfish.
Shrimp is my favorite food to this day. So I'm so glad I grew out of it.
Yeah.
I have a friend that she can't eat shrimp. She eat No, she don't eat seafood at all, actually. Nothing.
Is it an allergy or she just don't eat it?
The allergy.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It's the allergy.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's
Her
tough.
throat will close up and stuff.
Oh, she bad.
Yeah, that's like the shellfish and with eggs and stuff. Because how Rito is with eggs.
Yeah, I know some people that have
My
egg
sister-in-law,
allergy.
but that happened after she had my niece.
Okay.
She got allergic to eggs afterwards.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then,
Her body changed.
yeah. But I was more with milk dairy products. I'll break out.
Intolerant?
No.
No, not like
break
you
out.
have like real hives and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I still ate ice cream, just face the pain.
Yeah. I was gonna say a lot.
What?
A lot of people do it.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people.
My mom
do
was
it.
like, "You ate the ice cream?" Yup.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I was so red, it don't matter.
with the shrimp, I said my lip would be big, and I take some Benadryl and have like an ice pack on my lip, and I'll be asleep. I'll be full.
I'll be cut with
I'm
oatmeal.
telling you,
It's just gonna have
I've
a
been
big
out
word.
with people. I've been out with people like recently that had like shellfish
I don't
allergies,
want none of that.
and they'll be like, they won't order shellfish, they won't order anything with shellfish, anything like that. But then we'll be like out somewhere, like a new restaurant or something, and so we'll be like, oh, these crab cakes are really good, or this shrimp is really good, or whatever. Like, I'm gonna have to try it. So they'll try it, and
Oh
we're like,
my God.
ain't you allergic? They'll be like,
Yeah.
I'll take some when I get home. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad I never had that
You
problem.
really be risking your life for food.
Yeah,
Like,
for
sometimes
food.
it's really worth it.
Because people say it's good, so you gotta try
If
it.
I die, I'll die
I'll
well
be
fed.
alright,
I
I'll be
remember people
okay.
had like chocolate allergies too, like they never had chocolate.
That is so sad. Like,
Yeah.
I really do feel for people with food allergies. I knew a guy I had a crush on. He couldn't even smell shrimp. I was just like, this is never gonna work out. Like, I'm just cutting this off right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
One of my friends, we can't go anywhere. I'll be like, nah, we're gonna eat crawfish and catch you later. Like, I always gotta tell her, like, we're gonna eat crawfish. Like, I can't be around it. She can't be around it.
That's and like people with nut allergies too. And the thing about nut allergies is like everybody's starting to cook in peanut oil now.
Yeah.
So like you
But
really have to be
I
careful.
have a coworker like that, but she can tell, like, she ate something a day and she had a rush to go throw up because she was like, it cooked in peanut oil. And
Yeah,
I
you
was
can tell
like,
that's
Wow.
And she's like that every other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop ordering food downstairs.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. You should see, I'd be like, stop doing that. Lady, oh, sorry. Hey. Anyway. Like, stop doing that.
And this is what it goes down to, like, knowing what ingredients are really going into your food, because there were times that, I've had friends who are vegan or vegetarian. They will go into a restaurant where, they're using like the same type of oil for everything, they're cooking the same oil that they're using for the meat, that they're cooking like the vegetable stuff. And honestly, like, I decided to not go into the restaurant industry because it's just like behind the scenes.
I figured that. I would think like
It's gross. It's
I don't
really,
even want to know.
it's not pleasant. And it's one of those things where, that's why they have so many food safety laws about, like clean spaces and like, it's insane, So whenever people come to me and they're just like, okay, what exactly is going into this? I'm just like, okay, well, first of all, I'm not even going to recommend vegetable oil or corn oil or peanut oil. Like, I will recommend avocado oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil that you can literally find just about anywhere. If you want to be bougie, we can do some truffle oil, like, it's all about like the base ingredients that you're using, and that is what can also like help build like your tolerance to certain things, because sometimes it's not even about the seafood, it's about the way the seafood is being cooked.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Okay, and so I have a question because you spoke earlier about halal. What is halal? What is kosher? Like, I don't understand all these different like food categories because I've seen it, and like I've seen like on, I guess it was like airport, somewhere like that, where they were like the halal and kosher options were like similar.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is halal and kosher the same thing? Like, I can't figure it out.
I don't want to sound ignorant because I'm still also learning about that, but from what I've learned, it has to do with, just animals that are killed in a much more humane way.
Okay.
And it does have to do with religion, and I do believe that they think that it comes from, that energy concept that I was speaking on earlier. And that's really all it is. It's just like animals are not being killed like dramatically.
Right.
I grew up with my grandma like offing our chickens like right in front of us. She would get them drunk on wine, and once they were wobbling around, she just slit them through. Like, you were just
Y'all
like,
ever seen that before?
Me
too.
My
I was
mama,
like,
they ring
but when
chicken
you
necks.
feel like that's what I seen. Like,
They do
oh
that.
God.
Ring the neck.
Oh, that sounds intense. No, she was just slitting.
Like
Yeah,
a rope
she
ride.
was and I think I was like, oh my God, I named the damn chicken.
I would help her. I would literally be right front and center and be like, let me learn how to do this. So during the time whenever I was going vegan, they were like, is it for the animals? I'm like, fuck the animals. Like, I love the animals. I'm just trying to elevate to a spiritual dimension. Like, I don't even know, like, why I'm doing this. But, like, when it comes to the animals, like, there is serious torture that happens. It's cruel. It's demented, it's sadistic, it's honestly horrible, you know what I mean? But unfortunately for myself, it wasn't something to be like, okay, like, I'm never gonna eat a cow ever again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, I grew up Catholic and, you know, like,
We did too.
exactly. So it's one of those teaching where it's just like, okay, like, we take some, we give some, whatever the Bible says, we like interpret it a little bit and whatnot. And it was just
wine.
And for me as well, exactly. And for me as well, like, I just feel like if there were like all these animals around, like it would be a lot of overpopulation.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you say, like killing them like humanely and stuff like that. Like you say, you have somebody like slit the throat of a cow or whatever, right? But they do it in a nice, gentle way or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
While you have, like in the slaughterhouse, whatever, they take like the drill gun, whatever, and put it to their head.
Yeah.
And shit. Like, what the fuck?
I can't watch that.
Yeah.
So good.
In broad daylight.
Yeah,
Ugh.
broad daylight.
When you wonder like why one meat tastes better than the other one, like I really do think that how the animal is, you know, like taken care of.
I never
Right,
thought about
yeah, how
that.
they're fed, how they're raised. Like, that's why they have, like, what is it, like,
They
farm
give
raised?
grass fed.
I'm getting a
Free
demon
range
cow.
Kobe beef getting massaged and
Oh my
stuff,
God.
living like gods until
Yeah.
the slaughter.
Have you ever had Kobe beef?
Yes, I have. It is so good.
It is.
It's
It
like
is.
butter. It's like, you know how you're talking about like having that meal in solitude?
Mm-hmm.
So back in 2017, I had just finished graduating and I was considering moving to LA. And I went to Santa Monica and I went to meet on Ocean on a Sunday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
I had like the best meal of my life. I have pictures of it here. Like they had this, like I spent like $360 on myself. Just like, no, it was like house-made. It was like house-made prosciutto, house-made cheese. They had this house-made Kobe beef that literally like just slipped off my tongue. Like the way you eat it, it was unreal. The food was delicious. Meat on Ocean for anybody who wants to go to Santa Monica. But it was so good. It was a sacred moment for me. I was really there like, wow, like I'm really about to eat this food like this. Yes, it was so nice. It was such a great experience. Kobe beef is amazing. It's not my favorite.
Right.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's a little too smooth, you know, like I'm a big fan of a ribeye. I don't mind a tomahawk.
Oh, you like steak?
Yeah. When it comes to the type of meat, like I love Brazilian steakhouses. Like those,
Yeah.
that hits so close to home. Like the ingredients.
That's a lot of
the
meat.
Turn my card over.
Yeah.
That's a lot of meat.
Keep that green going.
Like, sir, what you want some?
Yes.
Yeah, give me that too. Give me that too. That'll work. I'll take that too.
Yes.
You don't like Brazilian steakhouse?
I don't like them like that. I don't like meat.
You don't like
that
meat?
much.
The meat overload.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a
Let's
little,
get the
give me
roasted pineapple or
I'm
something.
saying, give me a little mashed potato, give me some
like
plantains.
Yeah, the plantains.
I don't like mashed potatoes.
That's why they have that salad bar. That way you digest it real good.
That
Because that
bacon.
can build up.
That
Yeah.
bacon at the salad bar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best bacon I've ever had.
I gotta try that.
Have you been to a Brazilian steakhouse?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you haven't been to
Like,
one?
yeah, like Fogo.
Oh, you gotta try it.
Yeah.
You gotta try it out there. Or you can go to a cheaper one.
Texas, Brazil. something
Texas
like
and
that.
Brazil,
Yeah.
you got Fogo, you got, there's a churrascaria place.
Texas, the Brazilian City Center.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Fogao and Montrose.
yeah.
They like I can name you all of them. Like
Yeah.
I'll do like a little rotation every once in a while.
I've been to a few.
That's a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I like Brazilian steakhouses.
Yeah.
What would you say your top? I'll say like top 3 places to eat in Houston.
Let's see. Fogo de Chão for sure, because I've literally been going there since I was little. Like we used to have like a little table over there for us and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And just coming from, you know, like African, Portuguese, Brazilian culture, it just always hits quite close to home. When it comes to like authentic Brazilian food, I would definitely say Empório, Brazil. It's right off of Westheimer and Wood Forest, I think. It's right before Dairy Ashford. It's a very small, little quaint, you know, like Brazilian place. Let's see. I like this Portuguese restaurant, O Porto. It's right off of Gray in Midtown, and I'm naming these places because these places hit very close to home. You know, like I'm Angolan, but I'm also a quarter Portuguese and a quarter Brazilian. So like those are the places I like to eat. My palate is heavily extended. And when people ask me like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite thing to cook? I'm just like, I don't know. Name the country and I'll tell you the food that I don't mind. You know, like I love benihanas. I love Korean food. I love Mexican food. I love Italian food. I can eat anything, probably except German.
What is German food?
I know.
You have like bratwurst. You have like these like excessive sausages. A lot of like, I don't know, like Eastern European food just doesn't hit for me.
Yeah, I was saying, I've had bratwurst, that's about it.
Yeah, like when it comes to like the western side of Europe, like French, Portuguese, Spanish, maybe even some British food, like I definitely don't mind. But anything Eastern European, it's just it's foreign to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I like trying out new places, but I know a lot of people, like when they try new places, if it's something foreign, it's like the flavor is different, and so they just won't deal with it. Like I'm trying to think of something that has come out like recently, American, like that American people have started to accept, but it's been around for a long time. Like it's a mix of flavors. I'm trying to think of something like that has like a mix of like sweet and salty at the same time.
Like Thai food.
Like Thai food. Like you know, everybody's starting to eat Thai now, and you know, early on, people were like, that doesn't go together. Like those flavors don't make sense. And so now
there are a lot of fusion places, you know, like you know how they're starting to cut Korean tacos. I think I've heard of that coming out. How they've started making like burrito pizzas. You know, it's a mix of like cultures coming together, and I love the concept of that because I believe that like there really is a oneness when it comes to ourselves and when it comes to food. You know, if you think about it, you know. Those pastry puffs that we get, you will find empanadas in one country. You will find like baked cornbread. What is it called? Cornish pastries in England. But they're all using like the same type of concept, but they're putting their own twist on it. You know, like burritos is like the Japanese version of like hand rolls, you know, but like when it comes to Japanese, they're using, you know, whatever they're using, but like they're still wrapping it up, and you know, so I think that's so interesting when, you know, different cultures that you think are so different come together and create like a fusion of flavor, because it just like really helps you realize like, wow, like we're all in this shit together, like it's all one thing.
I learned about some of that from like, you ever watch Ugly Delicious on Netflix? It's a show on Netflix with, who's that chef? Like he goes around and he just goes different places and finds out food from different places. He actually spent one of the episodes in Houston where he talks about fusion restaurants, Vietnamese and Cajun food. Yeah. Because there's a lot of Viet Cajun places here. Yes. And so they were talking about fusion restaurants, and that's what I kind of learned about them. So yeah, I think those are real interesting too. Like I think that's something that everybody should like really look into because the food is good. Exactly. I actually tried a couple like randomly.
This Gennych place, like it's definitely an Asian run restaurant, and I trust Asian food so much. Like I love my food. Like I like my people's food. But if I gotta choose another, I'm like, okay, like if they're Asians making it, like I can get behind it because they're putting real flavor into that. Like I love me some good like fried rice, you know, like it's the same thing as jollof rice, you know, it's just like a lot of ingredients going into like one plate, and it's just making good shit. Like,
so who makes the best jollof rice? Because I've had some African friends that have arguments about Ghanaian jollof rice and Nigerian jollof rice.
I've never had any.
I've never had Nigerian. I had Ghanaian jollof rice and it was the bomb.
Okay.
I went over to a friend's house for Christmas and I took packs to go for sure. Like, I was eating for days. It is really, really good. But if you think about it, everybody always says, you know, like the difference between Caribbeans, the Indies is just a boat ride, you know,
Right.
like we all came from Africa at the end of the day. So a lot of the foods are going to be very similar. Yeah, there are a lot of foods in Angola that are similar to foods in Nigeria or foods in South Africa or foods in Mozambique, but it's all about like whoever is behind the spoon, you know, and the flavor and the culture and the power of the ancestors going into that, you know, like it's great.
I'm hungry.
I'm getting hungry.
I was saying, yeah, okay, keep talking about food.
She's not far when she talks about like food and sex. It's just like, for me, it's just a passionate experience. Like, if I had to choose between food and sex, I would just,
Food.
I don't know. I think I would probably choose food too, you know, like
It never leaves.
it'll never leave. It'll never play you.
I'm not saying because the way they explain both, like they done food and this and that, I'm like, damn, they're giving yourself nightcaps.
Best ever.
I was gonna say,
nobody can do me like you, baby.
What?
look at the mirror and shit.
Like, well, home.
Look at
Eat
your
my
plate.
meal. Bye, y'all.
Yep.
I guess a certain age where you get excited to just go home and eat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like you need that peace of mind, and it's
Uh-huh.
just like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
And I agree. I agree with that because sometimes people be like, "Hey man, you want to go?" Like I'm saying, eat a pill. Like, nah, I'm gonna go to the high.
Yep. I don't want to go out to eat or nothing. I just pick up
My
something.
people think I'm weird because of that. She's like, she's gonna go home, eat by herself. Yup.
Yeah.
Bye.
Turn something good on and shit
It's
and
me
relax.
and you. No, that's how we talking. But
I'm very peculiar about what I eat, so when people tell me like, "Oh, we're gonna go here to eat," I'm just like, I tried it. Not a fan. I'll go home and cook the same thing for myself. Like, I'm good. And eating out, like, that's huge with, like, Houston culture. Like, people love eating out. They really love eating out, and they spend so much money. And then when it comes to sometimes, you know, doing something as simple as meal prep, they're like, I can't afford it. I'm like, oh, you can afford it.
yeah, I figured out I could afford it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I can.
Like Houston has become like a big like player like in the restaurant scene and different things like that. So I'm saying like with all the different cultures we have here.
Do you like? What's Steph Curry's wife's name?
Aisha.
Do you like her restaurant?
International Smoke?
Yeah, I
yes.
just ate there. I
Yes.
was like, this ain't bad.
I really liked it. I saw a photo of this clam pasta my sister had eaten. I wasn't even in the country at the time, and I was just like, I'm gonna go there to order this. And the day that I went, they didn't have it on the menu anymore. And I spoke to the chef, and I'm like, hi, I'm a fellow chef too. Like, I saw this photo, I really would want, you know. And he was like, yeah, I made this especially for you. He'd made it. And I was so happy because it was so good. And I love her restaurant. You know, like the short ribs are bomb. The drinks are amazing. Like, it's definitely a great recommendation. International Smoke is dope.
And where's International Smoke? I haven't even tried it.
City Center.
Yeah, I didn't even know when we walked in. I was like, this is her restaurant. My bad. I was like, oh, we just went because it wasn't crowded.
The chef is amazing. He's really, really amazing. And sometimes it's hard to trust franchises because it's not the same chef in those places.
I was worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading the reviews about she had this. Okay, where's her other location then?
I think it's is it in Miami or New York? I cannot remember. Or maybe it's LA. I don't know.
I was gonna say LA, but I was just gonna be a guest.
At least LA or the Bay Area.
Yeah, I was just gonna be a guest though. But
Who's the other chef? Somebody else is with her, right? With this restaurant?
I cannot recall. That was the one thing I didn't do good in culinary school. Like, I was always told like, oh, you need to watch like more food documentaries. And it's just not my thing. A lot of people always ask me, do you watch the Food Network? And I'm just like, no. Because then I'll be watching like Master Chef Junior and I'm like, I'm behind. Like, these 4-year-olds are whipping it.
I be like, how they in there? Okay. Grab my egg. Slow down. Never mind, Billy. Never mind. You didn't make a whole. No, I'm over here with crack eggs. That was important.
that is something that's weird. Like I said, as you get older, like I said, something as I was younger, I probably never watched like the Food Network, but then I found myself watching marathons of Chopped.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But like,
You watch that?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out. Like, they're like, what's in the basket? What they gonna do with this?
Yeah.
It's like that. So.
I can't get into the Food Network, but like I said, I'll watch documentaries like that Ugly Delicious documentary and things like that. Like documentaries.
I don't
where
watch
they tell,
food
like, history.
documentaries. I don't watch
Because
that.
I like history and I like
love
learning.
I like
documentaries.
history, yeah,
Yeah,
but I like
like-
documentaries, not food.
Why not
You're not
food?
missing my food experience.
I mean, the ones I've seen haven't been bad ones. Like they're explaining
No.
like
The only food doc I watched was Super Size Me.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's
Oh,
bad.
Yeah, that was horrible.
That was good.
I think that messed me up.
That was a good documentary.
No, there was one that came out in 2017 that honestly gave me it's what helped me rebrand a company to meal prepping. I had a shitload of people. They watched this documentary. I completely forgot what it was called.
Is it the one on Netflix? No, it's not.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell?
I wouldn't watch it because they were talking about it at work too much.
Yes, and they were, and I had some people like,
You ain't
hey,
eat hot dogs no more.
can you make me some vegan food? Can you make me some vegetarian food? Like, and I was like, I got you. Yes, come through. You know, like this is great.
Yeah, what the
Keep
hell?
on
People going
Netflix.
crazy.
Exactly, and
Everybody
like,
was vegan at my job after that.
Ex-
But not me. I was like,
Yeah, everybody wanted to go vegan all of a sudden after what the hell came
They ain't
out.
lying.
Exactly. It does that because you gotta have a conviction towards it. Like you can believe something, but when you have a conviction towards, you know, like what you believe in, it's just like, okay, right, this is what I'm committed to doing and I'm going to be consistent about that. If you don't have that, then like you're not doing really much of anything.
I mean, it's kind of like, it's another fad. When that came out, it was like a big
It is a
thing
fad.
where like everybody's, oh, I gotta be vegan now. Because
Exactly.
But I mean, like, and actually that kind of gets into one of my questions that I had, because like fad diets are a big thing.
The
Because
keto.
Keto is huge. Right
Everybody in
now.
my family on the keto diet now.
But keto to me looks
I don't-
real similar to every other low carb Atkins diet or anything
What
else.
is
Like,
the
it's all
keto
about-
diet?
Exactly. The keto diet is Atkins Diet rebranded.
That's
Right.
what I.
That's
I was looking
exactly
at it
what
like,
it is.
This looks
All
familiar.
yes, all it is this like all like meat and fats fad with veggies as less carbs as possible, and you do that, you know. But it does come in with like rigorous exercise, you know.
Right.
If you're just eating a whole bunch of steak and like fat and you're not working
I
out,
told my aunt, like, what are you gonna do?
Like it's
You don't move
it's
around
Giving you,
enough
it's
to
giving
do
you the
nothing.
energy
Yeah,
to
to
move,
to burn.
but
So,
people are just eating.
my brother started. Well, he started in the beginning of January. He was like, I don't like it, but he
Yeah.
runs a lot. So
See,
he was
because
like,
the Atkins diet was the same thing, and the only thing that kind of ended that fad was when Atkins died. I mean, he didn't die from the
He died,
diet, but I mean, when he died, that kind of threw everybody off. Like, oh well, if Atkins
Bye.
is dead.
I don't want that.
Heart
Yeah.
disease.
It's a
We're gonna have to
diabetes.
rename it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they waited a while, renamed
So,
it.
would you recommend someone do that?
Okay, so as a nutrition coach in the making, I cannot say what I can recommend to everybody.
Okay.
I have to speak to the individual
That
themselves
makes
and
sense.
see what works for them. You know, the keto diet has worked for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for some people. It's the same thing when it comes to, the paleo diet. That's one that, a lot of people
What
love.
is that?
It's about just eating like whole foods, it's focused on eating non-processed foods, a lot of legumes, a lot of vegetables, a lot of like whole meats, a lot of grains, and it's very balanced out, and it cuts out a lot of things, which now I'm noticing they're starting to add in more things, which is kind of throwing off like the whole concept in itself, and it's confusing a lot of people. And I think people generally just want to attach themselves to something that they believe is a fast and quick solution
of
to their
course.
problem.
That's why I'm trying to drop this 20 pounds in a week.
And the thing is, and this is why I respect like your regimen and your routine, because you really get up, you go and you do it, and people need to realize that it takes time.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get results in, like a week or two. Like in a month or two, you can definitely start seeing results, but you cannot rush the process. It's a journey. You gotta enjoy.
I don't want to
Right.
take medication. dedication.
And the motivation to do all that starts happening when you start seeing results. The minute you see like a small bit of results, you're just like, oh wow, this is working, so let me keep going.
One cut my arm, like, oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, you muscular now.
Like, girl, I can pick up this person.
Yes.
Before let's roll.
And I think that's what the big thing is. Like, it has to be more of a lifestyle change.
It is.
It's like, because like I gained a lot of weight back now, but I lost a lot of weight at one time, and it took me, and everybody's like, wow, you lost all this weight, but I was like, you just haven't seen me in a year. So like, it took me over a year and a half to lose all that weight.
But I think it's
people think it's overnight.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I think what keeps me going actually to keep working out is because I have a group around me that actually stays active.
Yeah.
Like if I see y'all doing something, like, man, I ain't doing nothing.
You eat your dream team.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh.
In fact, I get mad at Ashley every morning because I be like, no, I don't give a fuck if Ashley fucking
No. If I see him go ride, if I'm like, oh, one Saturday I was like, damn, he went to go ride? I ain't about to do shit. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I ain't doing nothing.
I be mad when my watch goes off and Ashley worked out. Like, Ashley has completed a workout. Like, fuck Ashley. I'm tired of Ashley working out. I'm tired of Ashley.
But then I look back, he's like, 1,500. I did 900 today. I'm going to sleep. I gotta take the watch off. After a while, I'll be like, because I be trying to compete with him.
Exactly.
I'll never make it.
You definitely need a team to keep you, accountable for sure. Whenever I first started my my fitness journey, I've been overweight before. Like, I think the heaviest.
When?
I mean, everybody called her.
I was gonna ask. Wait, hold on, wait.
So during puberty, right, I blew up, I think the heaviest I got to was about 165 pounds.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Yeah, so okay.
Exactly. And when I was 16, I got pneumonia, and I ended up losing like 40 pounds at the hospital, and I was like, yes, Jesus, like.
I just said that thing, if I could just get sick, I could drop this weight. They was like, damn,
silver lining. And my weight always fluctuated, I would see a vacation coming up, and I'd be like, oh, okay, like I have these African metabolism. Let me go spend 2 months, 1 week at the gym. But then as soon as you come back from the trip, you're just you don't want to do anything. And you just stop. So you're always up and down and up and down and up and down.
All the time.
And my friends would actually really get pissed off at me because they would be like, damn, you're already showing abs. And I'm just like, yeah, girls have black gene or whatever. But now when I hear somebody tell me oh, you're just the way you are because you have African genes, I'm just like, that is disrespectful. I've been working hard for this.
You do
I put in work,
I'm looking at that, I should be doing that. Good motivation. I do follow people that actually motivate me. I can look at you back yeah, girl, keep me.
I'm glad.
I'm gonna do my stretches though.
Yeah.
For the day, I'm like, golly.
I really be trying to push people to come to the gym with me. I try to sell them. I'm like, hey, I got a guest pass. We got a sauna.
She was doing something with a kettlebell, going back and forth, I guess slide shuffle shit.
Yeah.
And I was just I would have knocked my knees out. I gotta stay in one place with the kettlebell.
And I get that
inspiration
inspiration from
it don't work like that.
Other Instagram influencers, Coco Chanel, she's in New York. She is body goals. I absolutely love her
I be
workout.
looking at all of y'all, I'll be like, one day, then I'll be like, you know what? This day may not hit, but I'm gonna get somewhere between that I can even do that workout.
It's become honestly it makes me feel really empowered when someone tells me hey, your page help me, start doing stuff, your total goals, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm trying to get to other goals,
it's very positive.
I really like that.
The
it makes
energy
me really
is
happy
great.
to
I'm
hear
like,
that.
great, hey.
Yes, and
motivation.
Hey, girl. Exactly. And we live in a world that it's always, we talk about empowerment and female empowerment and all that stuff, but when it gets real microscopic, it's real savage. Everybody wants to outdo the other person, but I believe that at the end of the day, your biggest competitor is in the mirror.
You do support I feel like, oh yeah, you show the support. That's what you should get back. I feel like, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. That's really good though. Having support for people is because we talked about on here before about having a support system.
Yes.
And having people on your side, and even if you don't necessarily have to have them saying, "Hey, good job" every day, but just knowing that you can look at somebody else's page and be like, "This person's working, so I'm gonna work too."
Words of affirmation are powerful.
Yeah.
They really, really are.
Pops up on my phone 8:30 and 10:30.
What?
8:30.
Words of affirmation?
Yeah.
Would you got Sprinkle of Jesus?
No, I don't use them.
I have the motivation app. I love that one.
Okay, I gotta probably get that.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives me some. It's an affirmation app. Actually. So at 8:30, I have something pops up, and 10:30 at night, I have something pop up. So it actually helped. At first, I wasn't reading it. Y'all ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I forgot. Because I'll be so busy. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get one of those
If you
notifications,
read-
you just swipe it off.
Yeah, I was like, I really do need to read these. I was like, oh, yeah, take one step at a time. All right.
Okay, let me do that.
Good idea.
Right. Keep going. Like, all right.
I try to keep my page as positive as possible because, like, we just live in, like, a draining world, you know? And, like, I know that a lot of people will go on my page and not, like, comment on things, but then, like, I'll catch up with them after. They'll be like, oh, I saw this one thing that, like, really brought my attention to this. I appreciate you putting that out. You know, like, I grew up in an all-white suburban neighborhood, and so at one time I was posting a lot of like pro-black woke shit. They were just like, oh, you need to chill out, and I'm like, no, y'all just need to wake up. You know, like I was saying, like I stay woke. Exactly.
Susan, what happened to that shit?
But it's important to like have a platform where you are able to really like empower the masses, because I just posted this yesterday. $1 billion industry. Yes. I do not know who quoted that.
And I was thinking about when you posted, I was like, she right.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like we have to educate ourselves. Like knowledge truly is power, you know?
Yeah.
And even though I've been out of school for, you know, almost 2 years, like Half Price Books is my place, you know? Like that's where I get all my material. I'm consistently learning when I'm dealing with, you know, a client that maybe has, you know, like a cardiac, you know, situation. I go to American Heart Association recipe books. I'm just like, if I don't know this, I know that there's people out there who do, and I'm going to follow those instructions because I'm not a dietitian. I have to consistently tell people this. I'm just like, I am not a certified dietitian. I am a wellness and dietary chef. So I am working with those people in order to help you. I'm just the middleman between, you know, like the instructions and the action. Like I'm the resource for the food. Yeah,
but that's good, man. Like everything, like the work that you're doing is very important, because I think people are really missing out on, I guess, the holistic aspect of a diet and how important that is for everything that goes on in your life.
Exactly.
Like
everything in your life.
Yeah, besides just gaining and losing weight, but just everything.
When you eat good, you feel good.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about what you're putting in. You're feeding not just your body, you're feeding your soul, you know?
Right, yeah. And you know what? And I want to move into, excuse me, I want to move into the final Woosah segment. I mean, really, I don't even really need a Woosah segment because this whole episode's been very positive. So
very much. One of the one of the most positive. I ain't say nothing really that crazy.
But I will say this. I will say that for the Woosah for today, I'll just go ahead and say that I think that being open is important. Like being open to trying new things. Because I think one of the things we addressed was talking about like trying new foods and, you know, opening up your palate or anything like that. But just being open to people, because I think that through, you know, nutrition or whatever avenue you take, like if you're open to people, it makes it a better experience for you, because it makes people like not hate each other so much. Because I think one time we had I saw a post one time that it was talking about how everybody could be connected if we just related through rice, because every culture uses rice. Like white rice is in like every culture.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, because rice is like universal. Everybody uses it. So if we just went to each culture and tried the different types of rice and do different things that they do with rice, then we'd understand each other better.
Oh,
I agree.
Yeah, so rice is a big deal. I don't like rice personally. I hate
rice.
I love like food related like philosophies and metaphors. You know, people say like, oh, we all sat at the table, we're all gonna eat, like everybody gonna get this bread. Like I live for all of that, you know.
We gonna eat.
Everybody eats.
Exactly. And I wrote something on Instagram not too long ago, just talking about being your, like as an individual, being your own self-sustaining garden, you know, like make sure that your garden has no pesticides, make sure that your fruit is clean and it's pure, make sure that, you know, the food that you are feeding others, like with your energy, is not toxic, it's not going to leave them depressed and fat and with heart disease. Make sure that you're always nourishing people with like, light and love and energy, and that's everything that naturally is about.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
We all are, girl. We all are. Trust me, I have my days.
I'll be like,
I have my days.
you don't want none of this right now.
And the big thing is, and the reason I also want to bring up being up because you're talking about being a garden and kind of giving out to people, and making sure that what you give out to people is nourishing.
Yeah.
Because I think what ends up happening with a lot of people, especially even now with social media, you would think that opens people up more, but I think it closes us more. Because all you have to do is only befriend people that are within your loop. And so, like, if you only deal with people in this loop, then anybody outside of that loop is yeah, they're not going to get your...
So you're saying open up your private pages to the world?
No, I'm not saying that.
I did that wrong.
I mean...
Why? I was like, okay, what I do?
No, I mean, like, outside of, like, your private pages, like, if you out there in the world, you should be open and be able to interact with different people. Interact with people because... Like Nelma was saying, you have to be able to nourish people. Like you have a garden within you that is worth giving out to people.
Yes,
exactly.
You have things that you can give, and you have to be open to give them, and not close everybody out. And be like, oh, I don't really fuck with y'all because y'all in my circle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have to admit to yourself you don't know everything.
Oh, I definitely don't.
Yes.
I learned so much today. I learned everything.
Oh yeah, no, I like to learn.
I love learning.
I feel like the old adage, whatever. It's like, show me a man that says he knows everything, and I show you a man that knows nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to go out there and you have to experience other things, whatever. Like I say, to actually be able to say like, oh, I don't like this, or I do like this. Because if you don't experience anything, how do you really know what you like and you don't like?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because people say they hate things and people all the time, but they never are around them.
Picky eaters that never try something.
my
I don't like it. Have you tried it? No. I'm like,
no man that's a picky eater.
like, I'm like, until you try it and you know you don't like it, don't say
I
you
just
don't
feel like
like
you're
it.
just a child with that. Really?
Yeah.
Like
I just want these chicken fingers.
Yeah.
Like, take your chicken ass.
They go to every restaurant and order chicken
Right. I'm like,
Oh my god.
man, I don't want to talk about this.
I'll just get the chicken tenders.
Yeah.
I'll just get the
Is
chicken.
this a Wusa moment?
I just broke down my life.
I just getting heated.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like chicken tenders.
Yeah.
I'm saying because I used to be that person.
Oh
I
my
like
God.
chicken tenders. I like chicken tenders.
I get it.
And you can, and the thing is, the reason I did that, and this may be a metaphor, but the reason I would do that is because no matter where you go, you can't really mess up chicken.
You can't, but try something else.
But if I don't ever,
I don't
open
trust
up
any
anything
animal
else-
that's not on the bone, though.
I don't like chicken. Like, I want my bone chicken all together.
It's about being satisfied. Like I say,
Yeah.
you pick the same thing over and over again because you
You're
know it's going to
satisfied.
satisfy you.
Yeah.
I hope they burn your chicken.
But that's what I'm saying though. That's why a person would potentially get the same thing because they want to be satisfied. They know
Which
like I
one
want
do
to
you
eat.
like it?
Yeah, but it goes back to what we were talking about. You need to explore your mind.
Some people don't
Right.
want to explore like that.
I know, so you stay away from me.
Right.
We good.
But yeah, you need to deal with people around you that kind of are open to try things. Like I said, food is one thing, but it's almost like a metaphor for like everything. Because like if you're able to go into different countries and try their food, meet with their people, talk to them, and do things like that, like all of a sudden these people you may not have liked before, you're like, oh, I always heard these people were bad. I always heard that food was nasty, but you never actually tried it.
You just heard.
It really does have the power to break barriers, and that's
Really?
like I just love food. You know, like I live for food. Like I was made when I was younger. There was this comic book back in Angola where it was called Monica and Friends. And it was about this girl with like a red dress that had like these three friends. And there was this young girl, her in a yellow dress, her name was Magali. And since I was literally born, like I was just always snatching food, And like my mom would even tell me sometimes I would watch like food commercials and I would like take out my pacifier and be like, oh, I want to eat that, you know? And so to see like life come around back on that and seeing like the journey that I took in life to become a chef, I really think it's a transformational journey that I've been through. Like I really do believe that, you know, God put me on this earth to, you know, help feed the world with not just food, but also with love.
With love, yeah.
Yes.
It all comes through food.
It all does.
Yeah. So, but that was the end of the Wusan segment. That's like I said, everything we talked about has been real positive, so I'm happy with it. So,
Yeah.
whatever y'all have anything else.
Well, I guess that's pretty much it though. But I want to say thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
You did excellent.
I
loved it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I guess let the people know like they can find you and stuff.
all your
Yes,
social media.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Everything is at naturallynelma. I have a website, www.naturallynelma.com. My Instagram is a great feed for everybody to look at. I will be giving all of you guys a $25 discount gift card for.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm very grateful for having you guys on here, and I will additionally leave you guys with some postcards. And if you give them to potential clients and they present those postcards to me, they also get a discount. Yes. So
I actually did on a list.
yes, you can definitely find me on Instagram. I have a Twitter that I really don't use, but you know it's there. It's more of a travel vlog. I hope to
We're
have.
gonna be traveling too.
Yeah.
Just take me in the suitcase.
I'll
be like, oh, where she going?
That's how I learned about food. Just go over there, eat their food, come back, and put it to
It'd be
work.
so beautiful. I'm like, wow.
Yes.
Show me some more pictures.
Living vicariously through.
Basically.
Yeah.
I was like, wait. Oh, yes.
And what was your website again?
www.naturallynelma.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So everything is naturally done.
Everything is naturally Nelma. I'm so happy I was able to find those. Like nobody else
Yeah.
Nelma out there. I'm just like, whoo! Thank God my name's not Nicole.
Yeah.
That's Nicole./KK.
_004.
It's hard to find handles and domains.
Exactly. I am hoping to open up a blog soon. It's going to be called The Pineapple Grove. Yes, my favorite fruit. Not for the reasons that
people,
but I always gotta say that. It's like it's not about that. Chill out. But yes, I hope to be opening up a blog soon. I am considering a podcast, but like you said, it takes a team, you know, and I think I have to put a lot of like thought, and I'm very like detail oriented. So before I go forward with that, it's definitely a lot of thinking. But the blog will be launched this April or this month.
Okay.
But I'm excited, you know, like right now it's a lot of like brand marketing and just, you know, getting the company notice out there. It's very, very new. I think that it's like an absolute movement, and I'm just excited to see where it takes me. Every time I speak to someone, they're always like, okay, like let's do something. I'm like, thank you, Dad, for making me charming. But you know, like, thank you guys for having me here. It's great exposure. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You got anything else? You got anything else?
No.
We got since we always support brunches is on Sunday. So.
Oh yeah.
This Sunday?
Yeah, the 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah, the 14th.
Oh, and I'm doing the beast mode
And
game.
I gotta talk to them, but
Yeah. And the baseball games on Saturday.
Yeah, me and Akila doing the beast mode. So if you see me passed out, it's all right.
I gotta go out of town this weekend actually because on Saturday, my sister is opening she has a dental office in Dallas, but she's opening a accelerated dental assistant program. Like, so you got the dental assistant school. They have an accelerated program that she opened in her dental office where you can like get your dental assistant certification in like 6 weeks. So since I'm going to be a part of that, I have to go to the grand opening on Saturday. So if y'all want to look at that, it's Turner Family Dental. I think it's called the accelerated. Turner, yeah, like my last name.
Yeah, that sounds
Turner Family
good.
Dental.
Congratulations to her.
Thank you.
She's doing big time.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're trying to. But yeah, I'm down as a career counselor on the
Are you
paperwork, so I gotta go. But yeah, no, that's my big announcement for today. Anybody, anything else?
No.
No, good.
So like I say, so brunch is on Sunday on the 14th, and Beast Mode games are on the 13th. Are you competing?
Yeah, we're competing in Akila.
Yeah. So I'm saying competition, or y'all just
We in there.
That's what's
All
up.
right.
You don't look excited.
Girl, I'm not that excited, but you know.
You gonna make it?
You're gonna do it though.
Yeah.
We got confidence in you.
I'm so scared. But I'm trying to, get past my fear.
You be good.
You'll be alright. You work out every day.
Well, like I say, you do. Like I say,
I understand. Go ahead.
no, you good. Like I said, well, as always, we hope you laughed a little, learned a lot. We hope we have helped you find the remedy to whatever's troubling you. This is What's the Remedy Podcast.
All right, Tom.
We out.